What's going on, guys? It's Skylar from Fack and today we are doing a console killer build with the new GTX 950 from Nvidia. I left the PC part picker link in the description so that you can change things, and link me in the comments and I would love to see them. So the processor in this build is the Athlon X4 860K, which is a quad-core processor from AMD with 3.7 GHz, which is great for any modern game. Quad-core is like pretty much what you need. Some games utilize all 4 cores, and dual-core just won't cut it. The motherboard in this build is just a gigabyte motherboard. It won't really affect performance, but it takes everything else in the build, like the processor and the RAM, so you don't really have to worry about it. For the memory in this build, we're going Crucial Ballistic Support 8 GB, just one stick of 8 GB, which is standard DDR3 memory, which is really all you need for any like modern game. But it does leave room for upgrades for 16 GB of RAM in the future if you would like to do that. So for the mass storage, we're going with a WD-RE3 1 TB, which is a 3.5-inch drive. It fits in any standard case, and obviously you can get an SSD later on if you really take this build seriously and you want to upgrade. The case in this build is the Thermaltake VL8001W2Z case, which is an ATX mid-tower, which pretty much means you can fit a full ATX motherboard, and it has room for graphics cards and all that, and it leaves a lot of room for expansion. In this build, we're using the Corsair 430 watt power supply, which is 80 plus bronze certified, which you need in a power supply. I also threw in a PS2 keyboard and just a Logitech B100 mouse, which are just cheap little peripherals, but they definitely work just fine for gaming. In this build, we're using the GTX 950 2GB GPU, the Zotac edition. The 950 is Nvidia's newer version of the 750, which was a really popular GPU to put in a lower-end PC to upgrade it for gaming performance. It comes with 2 GB of VRAM, which is just enough for most titles nowadays, but newer titles might require 4 gigs, but you can always upgrade in the future. All of this comes down to $430, which I think is very reasonable if you're looking for a new PC. A lot of people don't take into consideration that this is also a computer, so you can go on the internet, you can use other apps like Photoshop and Word, and you can edit video. It's not just for gaming, and people don't understand that when they take price into consideration between consoles and PCs. So the total is $430 with all the gift cards, but the base total is $475 if you don't do any of that stuff. So if you don't plan on doing any mail-in rebates or redeeming these gift cards, then you are going to spend $475 on this build. The best part about this build is it leaves tons of room for improvement. You can always upgrade the CPU and the motherboard, or just the CPU or the graphics card or the RAM. All that's easily swappable if you know how to build a computer. Really, this build is for anyone doing any MOBA games or like Counter-Strike or League of Legends or anything like that. Just kind of low-end gaming at 1080p at great frame rates. Or you could push some new AAA titles, newer titles, maybe at 1080p at maybe medium settings. The 950 isn't the most powerful card, but it is really good bang for the buck. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.